What's good, everybody? My name's Chase, and welcome to another week of me trying out this format for announcements and almost succeeding. You can see my screen still has windows like this. I know I'm not fully zoomed in on Minecraft. That is intentional because we will be looking at some other things today that aren't Minecraft to give you guys some more information. So I know I could have made the capture only capture Minecraft, but it's intentional that I didn't, so don't bully me about it. Thank you very much. All right. Today I'm here to talk to you about a few things going on with the server and to go into some detail about the upcoming release of TFI. We're going to talk about some progression systems and things like that are coming. Obviously, we're not going to cover all the features that are coming or anything even remotely close to that. We're just going to talk about one of the main ones and start getting into how these systems are going to work. So before I do that, I want to address some of the most frequently asked questions I've received in the last 2 weeks or so since we first made this announcement public. And of course, everyone wants to know, first of all, when this is happening, when the new island's coming out. And the answer that I'm going to give to that is that we're aiming for a release in mid to late November. You might be wondering why it's going to take that long, and we're going to get into that below a little bit. Not too much. You also have all been asking, of course, what's transferring. And I did go over it a little bit in my first video, but just to make it clear, super like set in stone, explain everything really directly, not leave anything up in the air for you guys all to question about. What's transferring over explicitly, ranks, standard kits, trails, prefixes, prestige badges, stuff like that. That's all going to transfer. When it comes to things like items, C kits, I kits, stars, challenge levels, anything like that, that's not transferring. These two islands are going to be completely separated. Orbs of Dimensions will not be enabled or actually a thing ever again. And kit tokens will not work in the way that you think they will. Again, the way that kits are going to work is we're literally just going to copy and paste your existing standard kit permissions and over to the other server. That's what's going to happen. Your iKits will stay exactly as they are. They are not things that are carried over. Your kits and rank will be transferred over. You will not need to make a ticket. You won't need to do anything like that. We're just going to copy and paste the permissions over. It's going to be automatic. So kit tokens also will not be a thing. They will also not be a thing ever. All these things will consistently stay separate between these two worlds. All right. The next question was regarding magic. What's happening with magic? What's going on with magic? Where is a reset ever going to happen? What are the plans for updating? Anything like that? Well, for one, like I said, we're not really going to be updating magic. Magic will be left alone in the current state that it's in, and we don't want to change that. We want to keep that OG feel of Skybounds there for anyone who wants to go back to it. And, you know, we're moving on and we're making Hellbounds now. And Hellbounds is going to be a bit different and a lot better. And that's what these new islands we're releasing are going to contain. They're going to contain Hellbounds. That existing island kind of is what we put back together from Skybounds with some changes and revisions and a couple additions along the way. But we don't have any plans to update it, like I said, and we also don't have any plans to reset it, at least for a while. Some people asking, being like, you know, Magic's my favorite island. Is it ever going to be another island option? Will you ever reset it? It's a possibility. It could happen in the future. It's definitely not going to be the next island we release. There will definitely be ones before we release Magic again, so I don't have a time frame for you guys, but don't expect a reset for Magic coming anytime soon. Your progress over there will stay in existence for at least quite a long while. Okay, moving on from that, let's actually get into the good stuff that you guys want to hear and start talking about what's going on with this new island release. What's changing, how are we structuring it, and what that means for the server. Well, the main objective of this restructure is balancing and sequencing out all the existing content upon the server. At the moment, in the state that the server's in, players can log in day one and have access to Enderman spawners, Emerald ore seeds, enchanted diamond gear, stuff like that. And all these things that we really don't want accessible that quickly. One thing Skybounds always lacked, and of course that Hellbound still does as well, is that it doesn't have a structured server progression. You know, you might say, oh, there's levels, there's player levels, and prestige, and that's the whole server structure. And it really isn't, because while some of those features are kind of level locked, like, hey, I can't do sorcery until I'm level 35 or whatever it might be, that's not really the only thing we need and the only thing we want. The fact that all these items and features are accessible so early on is really problematic and breaks a lot of the structuring of the server. It also makes it really, really pay to win, which is problematic because there isn't any grind for any of these items. People can log in day one and access everything if they spend enough money, if they do whatever it is. So trying to keep Hellbounds relatively free to play in a sense while still making it, you know, be a server that has pay to win aspects is a main objective here, making it a little bit better for everybody all around. I know lots of you who've come back from the old community very much like to spend money, and that's fine. And trust me, your progression will still absolutely be faster. And, you know, yes, it's still going to be the same way that Skybounds was always structured around, like, hey, spend money, progress faster. Yes, of course. It's a Minecraft server. They all work like that. Don't come at me. However, we need people to actually grind. They shouldn't just be able to pay their way to the top every single time. They can pay their way into certain aspects of the server, but not all the aspects of the server. That just doesn't really make a lot of sense and becomes a big problem. So, one of the things we are implementing, and the way that we've decided to fix this problem, one of the main ways, there are a lot of main core systems that we're creating or remastering for this new island release, is the creation of a system called Island Mastery. Some of you may have seen a similar kind of structure on other Skyblock servers in similar communities, and over the last few years, it's really become quite a standard form of system for most Skyblocks to have. If you're unfamiliar with the system, I will explain it here and explain how our system's going to work, because of course it will be decently different from other servers. This is, a pretty unique server, and a lot of the things on here are unique to this server, and while other servers may have eventually copied it at some point in time, the original thought process was here. With that, a lot of the things that we're trying to implement are things that you'll see reflected in other servers. And the reason for that is because what Hellbounds has kind of become is it's moved away a lot from that Skyblock game mode, which is really problematic as it's a Skyblock server. A lot of these aspects of grinding and, just Skyblock progression are non-existent, and that is not what we want. It's not at all what we want. We don't want it to be structured in the way it is, where it's a PvP gauntlet for half the player base and it's a boring grind for the other half of the player base. We want both those two things to be together, because this is a great PvP server. Not only are we making so many changes and adjustments to the way the warzone works, how combat works, all of those things, making it a lot bigger, a lot more inclusive, and just really expanding all of those things. A lot of people have been talking about these changes and thinking that it's like, oh, we're going to make the server more grindy. We're going to make it all like, oh, it's going to be hardcore grind. No, we're just making it better and more balanced and more structured. We're not abandoning combat or moving away from the PvP focus I know Hellbounds has. What we're doing is we're balancing everything out, making it all work together. We're going to get those people off their islands who sit there and they do nothing in the warzone ever. They never go out to the warzone. We're going to get those players into the warzone, and we're going to get the people who live in the warzone to have to be on their islands. They're going to have to grind. They're going to have to level things up. It's just how it's going to work. And anyway, let's actually start looking at Island Mastery. And to do that, actually, we have to fly back to spawn, because the rules still do apply to me. And if I was to warp to my island, which is where we have some menus stored, it would still take 10 seconds. So let's jump over there. There we go. Yes, I have fancy admin commands. Don't judge me. And don't judge my island build. And ignore those things over there. We'll get to them. Okay, first of all, let's look at the system of Island Mastery. And ignore staff chat over there, please. Thank you very much. Island Mastery is our main skill system of leveling islands up. And I really want to go over this well. It's a lot of information, and I'm going to do my best. And if you guys still have questions once I'm done with my long rant, I'm sure it will be at least 15 minutes or something like that. Please ask those questions. I will answer them. So, Island Mastery is composed of your island skills and island level. Upon release, we're releasing 12 skills. As you can see from this GUI here, there's actually 14 icons, and that's because one of these skills is being released at a later content update. That one right there, Necromancy. And one of them isn't actually a skill. It's a remastered version of Aura Beacons. That would be Island Auras. Very similar. We'll get there, I promise. Now, each of these mastery types is either a single set of skills, has a single skill or a set of sub-skills. As you can see here, for example, this is Sorcery. Sorcery has Soul Binding and XP Bottling. Both its sub-skills. Something else like Slaying, for example, might just have a single skill, which is Slaying. So, depending on what it is, it might have sub-skills or it might just have a single one. We'll get to what that means in just a second. I know you're looking at these values here and you're like, I don't know what that means. Farming level 4, 32% complete? What is that? Well, we're going to take a look at that. And the way that we're going to look at that right now, I think we're going to do Sorcery as our first little stop on this trip. So here's the Sorcery skill menu. If we pop over here, take a look at this menu, it does, well, hang on, sorry, I'm still reading off a script a little bit. It looks a bit like the previous menu we're in, but now it has a lot more information, it is a lot more direct. You can see here with Soul Binding 1 that this menu is displaying that I've unlocked this tier of the Soul Binding skill, which gives me access to apply Soul Binds to chainmail and stone items. Now, quick side note, some of you are probably already questioning why the hell you'd ever apply a Soul Bind to those items, and we will get to it. That kind of information will probably come with the combat discussion, and I know that's already going to scare a lot of people who've been ranting about, like, oh, combat's going to get broken. No, just let me get to it, all right? Everyone who is fear-mongering over that right now, everyone who's creating a panic and drama, leave it alone. Wait till I actually answer your questions. We'll get there. I promise. It's not going to be bad. All right. Back on topic. As you can see, I've met all the requirements to unlock this skill tier, as the only one right there is my island level being level 6. And we'll get to that too, how island levels work. But you can see island level 6, I met the requirement, I've unlocked it, which gives me the ability to apply soul binds to stone and chain items. Now, if we look at the Soul Binding 2 skill, which of course is a bit different, I also have it unlocked, as you can see, but the requirements are also different. For this tier, I need my island level to be at least level 11, but I also have to apply a total of 10 soul stones in order for it to work. Now, most skills will work like this. They have a base requirement of your island level, and then they have a task or a set of tasks that you have to complete to unlock the abilities and tiers of that skill. Like in this instance, I've unlocked the ability to apply soul stones to iron items. The way I've done that is, again, by reaching the correct island level and applying that number of soul stones. That's like a prerequisite. I have to do both of those things. Over my Hellbounds career, I have to have applied 10 soul stones when I was working on this skill. Okay, actually, I've got to scroll down here a little bit so I can get to the other parts of my script that I'm supposed to cover. Again, I apologize for the interjections. I know it's a little unprofessional. Now, in this instance, we are looking at Soul Binding 3. First of all, I don't have this skill unlocked, as you can see from the bottom there, the in progress setting, or description rather. That means that I cannot yet soul bind diamond items until I meet all the requirements. For this tier, I need to be island level 16, which you can see I am not. I am island level 12, which is why the progress caption shows 75% complete. And I also need to apply 50 soul stones, 34 of which I have so far applied. Another important side note here is that your progress in the previous tier does not carry over. So when I begun unlocking Soul Binding 3, I had 0 out of 50 soul stones applied, even though I had already applied 10 to the previous tier. To kind of reword that a little bit. For example, you can see that I applied 10 soul stones for this tier. When I started working on Soul Binding 3, it wasn't 10 out of 50. I have to then do 50, so it's a total between these two of 60. They progress separately. It will for all skills. And you'll understand a little bit more as we get into the other skills, because we are going to cover a lot of them today. All right. Now we can take a look at another example here, as we have XP bottling. As you can see, I've unlocked the first tier, as the only requirement was my island being at least level 9, which again, it is. And if we look at the next tier here, you can see that it is in progress. I need a higher island level, as well as both of these tasks being completed, those tasks listed there. Sorry, I lost my place. If I do unlock this tier, my maximum return rate from bottling item and enchanting XP will be increased from 80% to 90%. Essentially right now, if you have this unlocked and you don't have this unlocked, the maximum return rate that you can get from bottling either XP is 80%. So no matter how much dust you put into that menu, it will never exceed 80% because that is your cap, that is your maximum. So leveling up this skill increases that maximum. Okay, same with the third tier here, which also has a set of tasks, which I have not yet completed, and also has the maximum return rates being increased from 90% to 100%. So if I unlock this level or this tier through increasing my island level and completing those tasks, then my return rates would be 100% at a maximum. I know this is getting a little bit confusing. I'm hoping I'm being as coherent as possible, but again, I am doing my best here. All right, let's pop over to a second example menu here, that of the mining skill. I think we're gonna first pop over here and show you guys this again. This is, you can see your total progress for mining, and also this should make a little bit more sense now that you can see your total progress for like soul binding and XP bottling. That's the cumulative progress towards that level. So as you can see, there are multiple tasks. Sorry about that. There are multiple tasks here, so all of those those completion bars are averaged out together, and that's what calculates that little displayed rate over here. Anyway, on from semantics. This is the mining skill menu. One quick side note, obviously all the information here and values everywhere are subject to change and testing. They're just temporary placeholders, so nothing you see here is set in stone, it's just experimental. Anyways, the mining 1 skill here is a little bit different because there weren't actually any requirements because this is unlocked by default, meaning I didn't have to do anything to unlock the ability to mine cobblestone. Moving on to coal here, you can see that in order to unlock the ability to mine coal and place coal ore seeds, I have to level up my island to level 3, as well as mine 500 cobblestone. Then with iron, you can see that I had to reach island level 6 and also mine 1,000 coal, and so on and so forth throughout these tiers. It progresses. You can see I'm currently working on diamond, as that is in progress. And beyond that, you're probably wondering what quartz, prismarine, and obsidian are, or what they're doing there. And well, you'll learn eventually, and we're changing the way ore seeds work a little bit and the economy surrounding them. Yes, these things will make money. They are not pointless. I'm going to cover it, I swear. Okay. Now, something I mentioned but didn't really go over is how the system here works. Essentially what it's doing is preventing that day 1 access to emeralds, etc. It's a progression system. You have to level up your island to complete tasks in order to progress. This should make the server 1, a bit less pay to win, like I talked about earlier, as you still need to grind, and 2, bring back the skyblock aspects that the server's been missing pretty hard. For example, if I want to unlock the ability to mine emeralds, I have to complete all of these prerequisites. I have to get all the way to emeralds. Excuse me, I'm being killed by something on my island. Go away. Thank you very much. Okay. Back to this. Yes. So, if I wanted to unlock the ability to mine diamond, not only do I have to complete these tasks listed below here, but I also have to complete all of the tasks up to that point. So you're going to have to grind it out. No matter how much you put into the server, no matter what you do, you need to get to this point. And also because of that island level function, you have to actually level up your island, which requires you to level up a lot of other things. We're going to talk about island level in a bit. This is a completely integrated system. It works very well with the server. It balances everything out. I know this is scary to a lot of people, and this is a very different approach for how the server is, and it's very different from what it currently is now. One thing I'd like you all to keep in mind is that when we're making these changes, it's not like we're making this individual change. It's not like we're taking this thing and just throwing it on top of the pile of existing content. We're restructuring every part of this server to make this work, to make all the other things we're adding work. We're changing everything around these types of systems. We're rebalancing everything. So every time that, we get a suggestion about it and we're like, well, why are you guys doing this? That's not going to make sense with everything else. You're right, it wouldn't make sense with everything else because everything else right now is broken. We're fixing everything. We're not making little fixes here and there. We're not adding this on top and just leaving it how it is. We're changing everything and restructuring everything around these types of systems. The server is getting restructured. This is happening. This is how we're doing it to a degree. Lots of these things are subject to change, subject to discussion, but for the most part, this is what's going on. This is how we're doing it. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about it now. All right, let's actually move away from these menus now and look at some spreadsheets for other information. I just kind of want to show you all my thought process behind what I'm doing here and how this all gets planned out. So if we actually pop over to this, I need to click on this one right here. Okay. As you guys can see here, this is the mining sheet showing all the information for the mining skill. You can see unlocks, tasks, and all that, and gain an idea of how the system actually works with, this instead of a menu. Here are your required island level. That's what you need your island level to be at in order to reach this skill or unlock this skill. This is what you unlock at that skill level. And these are the tasks you need to complete to unlock that. So all of this information works together to gain. You have to have this thing and this thing in order to get this thing, if that makes sense to everybody. Again, if you have questions about how this is formatted and laid out, ask me. More than happy to explain it. I'm trying to be as clear as possible, but I am, doing my best here. Let's move over to, for example, slaying. And you can see how you unlock new spawner types. This is another major change that people I'm sure are going to freak out over. And again, keep in mind these numbers are experimental. They are not confirmed. They might be much higher or much lower. We have no idea. We're figuring it out. We're going to test everything. We're going to beta test everything. We're not just releasing something out of nowhere when we have no idea how bad or good these values might be. Everybody keep that in mind. Okay. As you can see, to gain access to new spawner types, you also might be seeing some that don't exist yet, like those, for example, and wondering how that's going to work. But don't worry about that. Your required island level is based on, your required island level, I apologize for stuttering, is what allows you to unlock these new types of things. And the tasks here are what you complete, just like the mining skill, just like the sorcery skill. We went over both of those below. You can see all the skills down here. On top of that, you have to progress through everything. You can't just put down an Enderman spawner. You have to be at the right island level, which requires a lot of other things. And you have to have completed all of these things, which means you have to have completed all of these things. Again, it is a progression system. You have to play through the server. You have to actually grind these things out. Another major change that's going to be going on is obviously the entire market, all of the shop prices, etc., are getting completely redone, completely rebalanced. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. But the thing I want you guys to keep in mind is when you're looking at this is like, don't assume anything from the old server. Don't assume that, what? How is that going to work? That doesn't make the right amount of money. That's a typo. Excuse me. I'm going to fix that real quick. Very professional, guys. I know. All right. So every time that you flinch and go, this doesn't make sense. I don't like this. I don't like this. Just wait till the finished product. Wait till you see all the information. Wait till we do everything and you're aware of everything. Because right now, every time that you make an assumption and you go, that doesn't make sense to me because of how the server is right now, assume that I also know that. And that I know it doesn't make sense how the server is right now. That's why we're changing all of these things. That's why we're completely redoing the market to make all of these drops that they drop actually make sense, actually work upwards, meaning cows, when you have cow spawners unlocked, will be profitable. Zombies, when you have zombies unlocked, will be profitable, so on and so forth. You're not going to have to just skip around. Right now, all of these spawners are relatively pointless. Well, I guess this doesn't exist yet, but these spawners are relatively pointless. So you get to something like that, or something like that, or something like that. And all of these things will work differently than they do currently. Again, keep that all in mind. I know when I like show off a big system here, everyone's going to flinch and go, I don't get that. Why is he doing that? It will make sense. I hope I'm explaining it well enough that you guys give me a chance to really show you how it's going to work before you start questioning it. But you know, then again, I don't know. I don't know how well I'm explaining this. I am only doing my best. All right. The third tab we're going to take a look at here is farming. One major thing that will be changing with Hellbounds is that farming will actually be becoming a part of the economy on the same level as ores or spawners, rather. All three of these systems will be balanced together and will have a nice standardized triplet economy where you can grind any of the three of these and still make profit and money off of it. They'll all be important. Back to farming here, you may be questioning what enchanted crops are, and essentially you can just think of them as a higher tier of crops. Like, you know, it progresses. This sugarcane's going to sell for less money than netherwort, etc. So slowly it sells for more money as you go up, and these crops sell for more. They're just new crop types. They'll be distinguishable by like particles surrounding them when you plant them, something like that. You know, it'll make sense, I swear. Okay. Another thing you might not see here, or you don't see here, is that cactus is not anywhere on this list. Yes, I know. That is 100% intentional, I promise you that, and cactus will not be a part of this economy. You will not be building those horrible, massive cactus farms. It's not the way we're structuring things. It's not how we want the server to be. The server isn't a competitive skyblock server. It's a skyblock server. We don't want you guys building massive cactus farms. They will not make money. You'll have to do things like this. You'll have to manually be farming them to a degree. Obviously, you can automate aspects of it. And of course, you can use spawners if you don't want to manually hand grind things. Though we'll get to how that's going to work too with spawners at some point. One major thing that I just want to talk about now is I hear you all about how spawner drops work. And I know that a lot of you would prefer them to be only based on manual. And so people who just sit in these massive spawner farms, AFK farms, don't get more spawners and just get rich. The rich get richer. We are going to be restructuring that to a degree. I'm not going to give you a concrete way how, but we are going to be improving that. And I don't like that. I have a couple features in mind. I have a couple ways and fixes and I have a couple ideas on how I'm going to do it. I do apologize if you can hear the lawnmower in the distance there. I don't know why someone's mowing their lawn at 6 p.m., but they are. Anyway, I know, I hear you. There are lots of things like that the entire team is completely aware of are a problem, especially me. And we're going to change them. We're going to fix them. We're going to improve them. We're going to get there. Just give me time to get there, all right? This is a lot of work. It's a lot of stuff to get through, and I'm trying to keep you guys updated with it. Okay. Now we're going to jump over to the main balancing spreadsheet where I lay out all the data and info for me to see so I can balance it accordingly. And let's do that real quick. Here you can see when certain things unlock, and you can also see the corresponding player level needed for each island level. And you can kind of see that here. So the P means prestige. I know everyone's already going to flinch. They're going to be like, what? You have to be prestige 4 for that? How is that going to work? We're redoing the challenge system, so it's not going to be the way it is now. Challenges are going to be a lot different. Campaigns we're completely redoing and getting rid of, and I'm completely making a new campaign system that will work differently, have different campaign challenges. Everything's going to be a lot better with the challenge system. We are completely recoding it, so also all of the issues that we're previously having, hopefully we won't have those issues anymore because it's going to be completely made new, completely rebalanced, a lot better. You might even see my little spreadsheet up there. That's the HB Challenges spreadsheet. I'm not going to click on that. You guys don't need to know about that yet. We'll go over it in a future video, but that will really be allowing us to restructure this system. So when you're flinching and seeing that prestige 4 and going like, oh, how is that going to work? I have to be prestige 2 level 30 for Enderman? How is that a thing? It will make sense. It's not the same prestige system. We are redoing how it works. I'm not saying it's going to be easier. I'm not saying that you're going to hit that faster than you would currently. You won't. Prestiging is a little bit broken right now. But it's going to be different, and the prestige grind will be a lot better, and we'll have different requirements for how you get there. It will be a different system. You're not going to have the same campaigns each prestige. It's not going to be the same amount of XP required per prestige. It's going to be a lot more complicated, a lot more intricate, and you'll see how it works, and I'm very excited to go over it. But anyway, as you can see, this is kind of everything laid out, and there's some more things on this side, but don't really worry about those yet because they're not finalized. Spawner slots, etc. are still kind of up in the air. We need to put all these things like this, unlocks, etc. on here, and then member slots I'm going to go over, and those values are not final. You'll learn about that at a little bit later in this video. We are getting through this video, I swear. Okay, let's pop back in game and look at this main menu here, and I kind of want to go over what skills mean what and what is actually in this menu. So, hold on everybody. Let's go to island levels actually. Yeah, that's going to be a good idea. Okay, we're going to go over how island levels actually work. This is island level 1. This level is unlocked by default. There are no requirements, but you can view the unlocks for this level below. You can see the unlocks right there. I actually didn't update the lore on that, but it's fine. It's relatively fine. If we pop over to island level 2, this is where you actually start to understand the system a little bit more. You can see the requirements to unlock that island level, and also you can see what unlocks with that island level. You can also see the cost at the bottom there, and that's how expensive it is to purchase that island level, which you can only do once you've met the requirements. For example, the requirements there being your player level and the previous island level being completed. Okay, here is island level 3. Hopefully you're getting an idea of how this works. You can see all the things there and how that works. Obviously, this is all not finalized. Once again, this is just placeholders as examples for you all to see and understand. And this is island level 4. Now, a change here you can see is that in the requirements, mining and slaying, level 2, are listed. This is because certain island skills from the mastery system must be leveled up in order for you to continue to increase your island level. You need to balance everything out, and you can't just rely on your player level and balance to level up. You'll need to grind out most aspects of your island, most of the core aspects, such as mining, slaying, farming, things like that. You'll have to level those up in order to progress. You can't just spend money and have your player level be up. You have to grind out all aspects of your island for this progression. I apologize for hitting my mic. All right. The reason for that is because what your island... Nope, is that the right point? Yes. The reason for that is because your island is now what allows you to use each feature of the server. Let's actually pop back down to the main mastery GUI now, which I thought I was going to do earlier, but I'm actually not. So, of course, we already went over the first 3 there. Slaying, mining, and farming. And again, I apologize if you can hear that lawnmower outside. And we're actually going to skip foraging there for now. You guys can read that little description if you want, but I'm not going to go over what that is yet. It's a cool new feature I'm excited to introduce. But don't worry about that. Let's move right on over to fishing. Now, you can see there my mastery progress. I'm fishing level 5. You might kind of understand how that works based on the previous menus you looked at, but I'm also just going to directly show you the spreadsheet. So let's pop on over to that and click on fishing. Right here, you can kind of see the new way that fishing is going to work. Now fishing will be profitable in a sense, which means that these fish, etc., will sell for money. And you can also see that each fish type is listed here as a progression system. It works a little bit differently. You can also see that you're unlocking the ability to unlock the new tiers of loot, such as common, uncommon, rare, and epic. These will be different. There'll be different items in them. We're going to make fishing a lot different. And also, currently, when you're leveling up your fishing rod, that's what's giving you the ability to access these new loot tiers and also unlock all the other parts of the fishing rod, special abilities, etc. Those are still going to be there. And what this is, it's just giving the concrete values for rare, uncommon, common loot, etc. So leveling up your rod to something completely separate to what this system does. They're separate things that will work together. Anyway, okay. Let's head back to the menu in game. Next up, we got brewing. We're actually going to pop over to the spreadsheet again real quick. I'm probably going to do that for all of those, actually, to show you guys how that'll work. I hope I'm being as coherent as possible here. I'm a little bit nervous and just doing my best. So, again, I apologize if I am talking too fast or anything like that. It's a lot of stuff to go over. Let's go back over to here. And once again, you can see the required island level. You can see the unlocks, kind of the new way that this is going to work. You unlock each specific type of potion based on your brewing level. And the tasks that you have to complete are actually unfinished. I think there's going to be a second. I don't know what the second task type is going to be yet. Again, all these systems are still under construction. I think it's going to be using a certain number of potions. I'm not sure. You'll have to do certain tasks like that. Maybe it'll be brewing higher tiered potions. I'm really not sure. We're getting there. We're making progress on these systems. But as you can see, you can't just use transmog 3s day 1. You have to progress through this. You have to unlock the ability to get there. That's how this is going to work. I know that also might sound very frightening to everybody who's used to just being able to do whatever they want at any time and not have to grind towards things. They're used to just being like, oh, I have this thing, I can use this thing. You won't be getting those things because you won't have the ability to get those things, and you won't have the ability to use those things either. The server's items, etc., are all being restructured around these things. Once again, anyone flinching at that, I keep saying it because I know you guys worry and I know this community. Anyone flinching at these things and these new ways that things are going to work, again, always keep in mind that I am changing everything. Thank you. I know that's also a scary thing for me to say. I'm not changing everything. You guys know what I mean. All right. Next up, we have smelting, but that's... I'll show the menu in game. It's a little bit complicated to go over. Really what we're doing is removing the whole upgrade function from the auto smelter itself to instead be through this progress type here. I'm actually not really going to fully go over into how it works as I'm still finalizing it, so I'm probably just going to move on. But what you need to know is that you'll be leveling these skills up through, one of these menus over here, like this, and you can see that you have the multi-smelt skill, the smelter capacity skill, and the treasure trove skill. You'll also notice the lack of the arcane smelter skill that is getting removed. All right, so that is how that will now work. Auto smelters will not be upgraded through their menu. They'll be upgraded per island, not based on your profile. We're to skip over enchanting and smithing, is that will just, yeah. More questions from that will be raised than answered. I am going to go over these two things in the combat video for this, going into how combat's going to change. Again, I'm not changing how combat actually works. I'm changing how the Warzone is structured and balanced. Combat itself will be the same. You'll still be having the same types of fights. You'll still be using the same types of items. We're just kind of balancing out how all those things work, when you get them, when you can use them, things like that. Okay, so let's move on to alchemy. With alchemy, if we open up that little spreadsheet right here, you can see you gain access to be able to upgrade new book tiers. That's through alchemization. Here are the tasks you have to complete to get there. Of course, still experimental. And you also gain access to dusting books. That's, breaking them down. And also the ability to dust arcane shards and then pearl fragments. These will be much better. There's a reason that they're so far into this. They're going to be a much more interesting item. Another part of this that might have caught your eye is the eternal tier of books. Firstly, no, these are not what they used to be, or whatever they used to be. I don't even know what Eternal books used to be. I didn't play during that period. It was weird. But Eternal is simply a new tier in the way that Immortal is a tier, or Legendary, or Ancient, or Common. For example, if an enchantment has 5 levels, like Combo maybe, in this 5-tier system, Combo level 1 would be Common, level 2 would be Ancient, level 3 would be Legendary, level 4 would be Immortal, and level 5 would be Eternal. For 10-level enchants, it works the same, and each 2 levels has a tier. So 1 and 2 would be Common, 3 and 4 would be Ancient, etc. We already showed off sorcery, so we can kind of skip that. So which kind of leads us to our next thing, necromancy, which for anyone curious is just going to be our Slayer equivalent. I might have said that earlier, I'm not sure. It's going to be our remastered version of Slayer. It will be a lot better, a lot different. We're not even using any of the old Slayer code. We're just making a completely new system based around that concept. Next up here, we have banking, which is going to work a lot differently. We're talking about player vaults here, of course, and you're going to be able to increase the size of your player vault. More accurately, what you're going to be doing is we're kind of going to change how player vaults work, as, yeah, we know they're buggy and awful, is we're going to kind of give you guys access to more player vaults instead of a scrollable thing. So instead of having this weird scroll menu where what button do I hit? Oh, I don't have a player vault on this island. Damn it, because I'm on dev right now. Don't worry about that, guys. I couldn't show you. You know what I'm talking about. The stupid scroll menu, you have to go through it. It's really annoying. It's going to be multiple vaults. You can open up multiple menus. It'll all be like one big chest GUI. You'll have 7 of these chest GUIs at max level. It'll be great. Much less buggy. Okay. And the last thing here is, of course, island auras. I mentioned these earlier, but really this is just going to be a remastered system of aura beacons. It'll be a bit better, a bit more grindy, and a lot more interesting with new tiers of auras and stuff like that. You can see them all listed there. They work a little bit differently. You can see these all have 24% complete, for example. These all have like 44% unlocked because it works differently. It progresses differently because you have to actually unlock the skill to gain access to it. Meanwhile, over here, what this means is you are 24% of the way to the next level being 4, for example, here. So that works a little bit differently there. Anyway, the main thing you're probably wondering right now, if you've been playing the server for a while, is how this is all going to work. Right now, if you want to repair an item, apply a soulbind, upgrade a book, bottle experience, brew a potion, even just apply an enchantment book, nothing about that is based on which island you're on. You just go to any old cauldron, enchantment table, etc., and you open up the menu and you can apply the item. Well, those work, but what about things like sorcery, alchemy, repairing, salvaging? Those are all done through commands or the market. Well, not anymore. You'll be able to place anvils on your island, which is where you'll repair and salvage, and you'll be able to use those new types of appliances on your island, such as the enrichment altar for sorcery and alchemy. Here's that over here. Look at it. It's so pretty. It doesn't have a GUI yet. I'm not going to open it. But that will be how you soulbind items and how you upgrade books, etc. on your island. Those NPCs in the market will not exist anymore. This is all going to be island-based, which means that, you have to unlock those skills to do those things. You have to level your island up. You have to progress yourself. You have to grind. So everyone looking at me right now and going, what do you mean? What do you mean I have to level up my island? What do you mean I have to island grind in order to soulbind? Or just apply enchantment books? Yes, welcome to new server. Thank you. And with all that, you're probably asking a very different question, which is if we're leveling up our islands, what's preventing me from just not me, myself, you as the player, from popping over to your friend's islands and using a high-level enchantment table because it's their island and not bothering to level your own skills up. Well, you won't be able to do that. Upon your island, most members will not be able to utilize your leveled up skills, excluding the members that you give the island co-owner role to, which is a new role that we made. With this role, not only can they help level up your skills, this is island teams, but they gain access to using them on your island. This essentially does allow that like island team kind of concept, and not anywhere near the same size that you would do with 20 people. On your island, you can have 3 island co-owners and yourself, with a total of 4 people that can work on each island. You also can't just unassign this role from one person and give it to another in an attempt to have a larger team. There's a decent cooldown on changing roles, and once you remove a role from someone, there'll also be a decently long cooldown until you can give it back to them. I know that all might sound a bit complicated, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more here in a second, but what I want you guys to keep in mind is that I promise that this will all make sense with time. So I'm just going to talk about that and how islands are going to work. We're going to go back to spawn, and I'll fly around a little bit and talk. Okay, so progression, right? You guys all, this is completely off script, by the way. I have sort of a script for this, but I also very often just go off script and talk. You're leveling up your island. You're unlocking these new skills. You're unlocking these new abilities, and you are on your own fully. We don't want it to fully be like that. We really want you guys to be able to work together, but we also don't want you guys to just have the one island on the server that everybody levels up on that team. So the 25 people all go to soulbound their items on this one person's island, and they all go to apply enchantment books on this one person's island, so they can all just go back to the warzone and do what they want and ignore most of the server's progression. That's not what we want. You will have to level up your own individual stuff. For example, if you want to use a certain level of enrichment altar on someone else's island, your own island's altar will have to be at a certain level for you to be able to use theirs. That's just how it's going to work. You will be able to create those island teams where you guys basically share progression, meaning your own island. Let's say you're on an island team with 3 of your friends. Your own specific island, you might not be leveling, but since you're a co-owner on your friend's island, you all can work together, and that kind of becomes your island, even if you have your separate space. So you can access all the features on that person's island. For example, if I'm not a co-owner on someone's island and they have Endermen there, I won't be able to kill those Endermen. I can't do that because I'm not able to interact with that. It's not my island. I didn't level it up. It's someone else's. So what this essentially creates is this whole environment where you really have to level up your own stuff to do everything. That includes like ore seeds. That includes, as we talked about earlier, just stuff like repairing items. You won't be able to repair your diamond gear unless you level it up on your own island. Obviously, you can pay other people to do it for you, but you know what I mean. You can't just go utilize other people's stuff. You're going to have to do things on your own. You're going to have to grind things out. I know that might sound scary and very different to most people, but once again, this is what we're trying to fix. We're trying to make progression a lot more centralized. We're trying to make progression more interesting and more balanced and have everything worked out a lot more. And all these changes will make a lot more sense once I go over what we're doing with the Warzone. And I know everyone flinching right now and going, oh, he's going to make it like X server. I'm not going to do a lot of the things that you all have been saying I'm going to do. There have been some rumors and some things, and they're just not true. And I really don't want to go over it because it's very complicated, and I will go over it in a future video. But for the moment, just don't assume everything you hear is true. A lot of people are spinning things way out of what they actually are. And that might be difficult to hear. But what I'm trying to express to you guys, do my very best to express, is the fact that no matter what happens, I am listening to all of you. I'm not going to make crazy changes and not talk to the community. That's why we have that design Discord. I know you haven't heard a lot of information from me lately. That's because I've been kind of finalizing everything so I can start getting it out. We wanted to let you guys all know about the reset as soon as possible so it didn't feel like we were lying to you. We're trying to like lead you along and thinking that Magic was going to be this long-lasting thing forever. It was a beta test. It was always been a beta test. We talked about it from the start. I know full release is looking a little bit different than you guys all first thought it would, but as a whole, it's around the same ideas. Kits and ranks are transferring over, and we're resetting all of this progress. We're not actually removing that progress. Again, Magic will still exist, but we are making a new island, and that progress will not transfer. I know things are getting massively restructured. I know that's a lot different from how this server used to be run, and all of you are very afraid of change, and you're not used to it, and it's scary, and you think I'll do it wrong. Well, some of you. Many of you have been super supportive and great, and I love seeing that. And I'm not mad at the ones who have been criticizing me either. I understand where you're coming from. I know you care about the server as much as I do. We're all going to work together, and we're all going to make this work. I promise. There will be parts of it that you don't like. There will be parts of it that you love. The point is, it has to work for everybody. Not everything is going to be perfectly tailored around your needs, as it has to work for the needs of the majority. And on top of that, one of the main issues with the server right now is that it's really complicated and not well explained, and we can't really get new players because of that. New players don't feel very welcome in this environment. And one of the things we're changing is we're going to try to make that better. We need to rebalance how progression systems work. We need to teach people how to play the server better so it's less confusing and less chaotic. And then we can actually have more players. I know a lot of you have been really stressed throughout this entire thing about us not doing advertisement, and that's because we didn't want to advertise an unfinished product. We will be doing major scale advertisement for the release of TFI. We will hopefully have player counts somewhere between 500 to 800 people on a at the same time. And one of the main things regarding that is that's not how Skybounds used to be structured. Per island, it used to be like 300 to 500 at most, and 500 was really, really pushing it. Getting that cap up to 500 to 700, maybe even 800 per island is going to be a lot harder. And that's one of the reasons we're rebalancing the way this server works, because it needs to be different. It needs to be better. I'll stop running around spawn. I'll go out into the warzone for you guys. And we need to improve it. So there are more players, so it's more interactive, so PvP is better, so all aspects of the server can be improved. And I know that that is a lot of information to process, and I know that's a lot to hear, and I know that you guys all have a million questions, and again, you can ask them to me. You can tell me what's up, you can tell me what you think, you can talk to me. Please be polite, please be nice to me. I do have feelings too. I am just doing my best. I do have a life outside of this too. But this is my job now. Well, one of my jobs. And I am here to help you guys and be a voice for you and design this server and make it something great. So I hope that the systems I've explained today, or the system I've explained today, sounds appealing. I hope you guys are looking forward to that. And I'm very excited to continue to share information because once again, this is only one of the many things that we're going to be changing about the server. That's the reason that it's going to take us a little bit of time to release the next island. We're not just throwing it together with a couple changes. We're making some massive scale changes. Also these right there. These will never be a thing ever again. I hate them. They're stupid. They anger me deeply. I hate these. Oh yeah, also special quests, like the special quest to unlock your vault, special quest to unlock aura beacons and brewing. Those will be never coming back. I hate them. They're stupid. They're so stupid. They make me so angry. Why would you go pay off someone else's debt? How is that teaching a player how to use a feature? Okay, never mind. I'm not going to rant about that. Look, the point is a lot of things need to change, and we're going to be changing those things for the better, all right? We have a lot of things planned out, and I'm making them all happen slowly, and I need you guys to work with me on it, and I need you guys to be patient. And again, most of you have been really supportive and really great. And I'm also not angry at the people who haven't been supportive or who have been toxic about it. I understand where you're coming from once again. But let's do this right. I hope you guys can see the progress going, the wheels turning. This project's not being abandoned. It's not dying. It is the exact opposite of that. We are pouring everything we have into this to try and make it great. And I know we're changing things. And I know that, again, that's always scary to people, especially for this server, because change a lot of the time means that they mess something up. But we all know that this server didn't used to be managed well. And I'm telling you now that it is. It is managed well now. I hope you all are starting to see that. I really hope. I don't mean to sound arrogant with that, but we are absolutely doing our best, and we're not treating the server like they used to treat the server. We want it to be better, we want it to be different, and we are going to get it there. So, that was a lot of rant. This has probably been a long video. I have no idea how long I've been going for. It could be a half an hour, it could be shorter, it could be even longer. And I just have a couple final notes to leave you guys all with. Firstly, on a kind of fun final note, we're releasing a couple things for Magic. October monthly crates, we're going to go live tomorrow or the day after, and you'll be able to purchase them from the store if you choose to do so. They're also going to be a lot cheaper than they used to be. I think they used to be like $80 or something. We're not going to do that. Along with that, we're also going to sell arachnid boss eggs on the shop, just to kind of give those who want a few more of them the ability to obtain them. Even if you're not the one buying them, this should kind of make them more, obtainable in the economy. And I know you guys enjoy boss fights, so you can do more boss fights. It also allows you to grind Eternals better, which is a thing that will transfer over to the new server. So, yes, purpose. Monthly crates will be a lot different than they used to be. Overall, definitely better. They're going to have a lot better items in there. We changed a lot of the existing loot tables. They're pretty good. I opened one the other day, and I got 3 shards out of it. So, they're definitely pretty interesting. And once again, certain things will transfer. You can, of course, get Eternals from monthlies. There is a purpose to it. But really, the thing I want you guys to keep in mind is the reason we're releasing these is because we want to give Magic a little bit of a better economy, in a sense. We want a couple items to be a little bit more obtainable there right now. We want things to be priced better, and a lot of you I know don't care, and you're just like, I'm waiting for the new island. I don't care about Magic anymore. And that's understandable, and I get that. And we knew that was coming, and it doesn't scare us. We're good. Server's not going to die out because nobody wants to play Magic right now. It's totally fine. Magic exists if anyone wants to play, not because we need people to be playing. We are funded, we are supported, we are good. We are making this happen. If the server's low on player count, that means nothing to us. It's okay. We're working on that full release, and we're going to get it there. And we're really excited to get it there. And, you know, throwing this little thing in there for you guys, we felt would be good. It's really not even like a money attempt. We just thought that would be the best way to do it, is to kind of give you guys the ability to, you know, purchase it. It does help us out, of course, but like, here, have a thing, run wild with it, do what you want. Keep in mind that those things won't transfer in the same way that kits and ranks do, but if you want to purchase them, you can. All right, next week, or maybe even sooner, I hope to have a video out upon the upcoming changes regarding the Warzone and combat. I know you've all been asking. We've got a lot more features and changes to go over, especially how TFI is going to be for that, and there will be a video to talk about it. And this is the first video talking about the overall changes. So once again, I hope you guys all enjoyed. I hope you're not too scared, and if you want to talk, shoot me a message. Seriously, shoot me a message. Tag me in the Design Discord. Have a discussion with me. Talk about what's going on. That's all. I swear I'm listening. I really am. I hope you guys all enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon.